Moments when you've been bird watching with someone for nearly 30 years now, been out bird nesting with him, and he's pulled your leg all those years, and you finally get to speak publicly about him. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the official citation first of all. The recipient, by the way, known to most of you, is Steve Roberts. This is the official version. I'll give you the unofficial version afterwards. By Bert Hamer, the founder of the Gwent Ornithological Society. Now Steve unfortunately lost his father when he was young, and Bert took him under his wing and took him out on bird watching walks. Steve remembers Bert showing him a mallard's nest full of eggs, and that really changed his life. He spent the rest of his time seeking out and researching birds, but more than anything else, looking for birds' nests. He's obsessive about finding birds' nests and fondling eggs. His work has been mainly on the rarer raptors hobby. The first time I ever went out with him was in 1989, I think, and he was showing me how to pinpoint hobby. But he's also done a phenomenal amount of work on goshawk, and he's best known today probably for his work on honey buzzards, not just in Wales either. Steve's long-term monitoring of these species has added considerably to the accumulated knowledge of what had been thought of as difficult birds to study. And they are. I can guarantee they are difficult birds, but Steve makes it look very easy. Steve, with others, has undertaken a long-term study of honey buzzards, leading to 2 landmark papers published in British Birds in 1999 and 2014. For decades, the secrecy surrounding this special woodland raptor made it difficult to bring together such knowledge. Yet, understanding of the species' habits and behaviour during the breeding season is a critical step towards their effective conservation. Now, we cannot undervalue Steve's input into this. Yes, there's a small team involved, but it has been Steve who has led the way for 25 years now. He's done some fantastic work. There are some tales I will tell you now in a bit about all of that, though. Steve has not worked alone. Jerry Lewis has done a lot of work with him, particularly on hobby and goshawks as well. And Steve has shared his knowledge with others willing to help, including me. I don't remember him doing any of that, but it's written down here. Steve is an accomplished and apparently fearless climber, and yes, he is. He's mad. He's absolutely mad. Some of the big trees I've seen him go up, how the hell he does it, I do not know. The work at the nest is almost always Steve's. He's nearly always the one who goes up and climbs, fixes cameras, sometimes rings. This makes him a much sought after specialist, and he travels worldwide to climb, to study and photograph iconic species such as harp eagle, and I think later on this year he's going to the Philippines to work on the Philippine eagle as well. And also, of course, for the last 5 years or so, Springwatch have hired him every year, every single year, no matter where they are, to find nests for them. That's led to 1 or 2 fallouts amongst RSPB visitors to the reserve when Steve is walking in with a stick, bashing all the bushes. But he does find nests very successfully. Steve is also an accomplished artist. Now, those of you who read Birds in Wales will know that some of his etchings, his drawings appear in there every year. He's an accomplished artist, having taught art at Croeso Comprehensive School, and his line drawings and paintings appear in many bird reports and books. This award is to a man who has pushed the boundaries of our knowledge, usually from high in the canopy of a tree. Now, that's the official citation here. The unofficial one, a couple of stories I'd like to tell you. First of all, when I was working for the RSPB, one afternoon I was at my desk and the phone went. It was Dorset Police saying, we have a chap in the woodland here, perilously close to a honey buzzard nest. We've checked his car number plate and it says Steve Roberts. It comes back as one Stephen Roberts. Do you know him? And I thought, what do I do here? Unfortunately, maybe I said, yes, I do know him, I can vouch for him, and I can guarantee you he wouldn't go anywhere near a honey buzzard nest without the license. And then they said, oh, okay, thank you for that, thank you for that. They went off the phone. Immediately, I picked up my other phone and phoned Steve on his mobile and said, Steve, wherever you are, bloody get out of there now, because the police are after you. Because I knew damn well he was there, and he was somewhere halfway up a tree. And as I said, I've been out with him many times, and it is a joy. It's a pleasure to go out with him. His nest finding abilities are legendary. They really are. And he will, I've seen him go into woodlands where you've got brambles, where you've got rhododendron, where you can hardly walk, and he'll crawl in. He's so determined, and he'll stick at it all day. However, he does like to be comfortable. And when you go up with him, you go up on the hill, and you're there sitting on a log, just looking, watching. He'll spend the first 15 minutes getting a deck chair out. Oh no, this is true, getting a deck chair out, getting his flask right here where he wants it, his bag with his sandwiches and cake prepared by Anne. He's got to have that there. And then he'll sit down, he'll have his dogs with him. I don't know whether he thinks honey buzzards are ground nesters or what, but he'll have his dogs with him, God knows why, but he's got his dogs with him. And I'll never forget his words. We were up on high up on a mountain in North Wales, looking down over this woodland where there was reported to be a pair of honey buzzards. And he said he'd taken 15 minutes to settle himself down, and he looked out, he got his binocs, and he said, right, y'all, he said, if a bird moves in this valley now, I'll see it. And I was down below looking back at him, and blow me, out of the mist, just behind his head, came a honey buzzard, circled around, and went back into the mist. He didn't see it. He didn't see it at all. So he might think he's good, but he's not actually that good. Steve, wherever you are, you're here somewhere. It's been a joy and a pleasure going out with you for the last 30 odd years or so. I just wish I had time to do it more often. So please put your hands together for Steve Roberts. You would have to sit at the back, wouldn't you?
I couldn't find a seat. I couldn't have been any further away. There you go, Wayne. Well, thank you very much indeed. I'd just like to say very briefly, you know, it is an honour to receive this award, particularly from my peers. It's also, I'm very glad that, my wife will be very glad that Donald didn't come out with anything too outrageous. He's been sweating at home, worrying what he's going to say, so it wasn't too bad. But as I look around at a sea of faces, I know many of you personally, I know the work that you do, the thousands of hours that have been put in by, you know, for no reward. You often do it with little recognition, very few accolades, you just do it for the love of it. But I realise as well, like you lot, that the work that you do is really the backbone and the pillars of what we found our conservation efforts on. As I say, you get very little recognition for it, so when occasionally something like this happens, particularly from my peers, it's very humbling indeed, so thank you very much. I would like to say it's a Lifetime's Achievement Award. I don't consider my lifetime's over just yet. And I do hope that I will have a few more achievements in a few years. Thank you very much.